Hey there, pre-calcers. Shinner's back here. We are going to continue our conversation about locus of points and distance, and we are going to focus on our first conic, our first locus of points highlighted, which is the circle, all right? So what is a circle? Please don't write down that it's a round thing, right? We want to really talk about circles in the context of distance and locus of points. So what is a circle? We are going to define a circle as the locus of points equidistant from one central point. So think about this, guys. If I gave you a central point, let's say 0, 0, and I want all of the points that are equidistant from that central point, I would get a locus of points that is a circle. And what is that equidistant? What do we usually refer to that as? The radius, right? So that is how we are going to think about circles this unit. We're going to kick it up a notch, all right? What are the equations of a circle? All right, so in standard or graphing form, so this would be the form you want to use if you are graphing. So you've definitely seen this before in a previous math class where our center is HK, right? And then the radius is what's on the outside of your equation, all right? Now, if I were to multiply this all out, that's what we would call like general form. So technically, I could give you a equation in general form and ask you to put it in standard graphing form. But to do that, we would have to complete the square, which you may or may not remember. I would urge you to try the challenge problem at the end of today's worksheet, but you don't necessarily have to, okay? We won't delve too much into that just for the sake of time and, we're online. So, but once the equation's given to you in graphing form, it's super easy, right? So in letter A, what would be the center here? Well, I'm not adding or subtracting anything, so my center would just be 0, 0. And then what would the radius be? The radius would be the square root of 4, which is 2. All right. Let's try another one. What would be my center? Nothing is being added or subtracted to x. And then it looks like I'm subtracting 1 from y. So my center would be 0, 1. Because remember, it's y minus k. So a minus actually means it's a positive 1. If it's a y plus k, then that means it's negative. So it's opposite relationship there. What would be my radius? In this case, it would be the square root of 8, which is some icky decimal. So if you want to, you can write it as a decimal, but you can leave it as root 8 also. All right? So pretty straightforward here when it's given to you in standard or graphing form. But what if it's not given to you in standard or graphing form? So we want to find that. So we want to find this equation using the information that is given to us, okay? So center at -3, -4. Okay, so right away I'm going to go opposite and start to build my equation. But I don't know my radius. All I know is that the circle contains the point 1, 2. Okay, so think about this. -3, -4 is my center, and it contains the point 1, 2. Alrighty, well, isn't the radius just going to be the distance between my center and the point on the circle, right? Think about if I were, Gibbon's circles are much better than mine. But if I found that distance between the center and a point on the circle, that's the radius, right? So review the distance formula if you forgot it. Here it is. And let's do that with this point and this point. So the distance, the radius is just going to be what? -3 and 1 is a distance of 4. -4 and 2 would be a distance of 6. So 4 squared plus 6 squared, what does that give me? 16 plus 36 gives me the square root of 52 for the radius, okay? So my radius is the square root of 52. Now, what's the square root of 52 squared? I could also just write this as just 52, right? The square root of 52 squared is just 52, okay? So you could write it in either form here, okay? Awesome. Let's try the next one. Endpoints of a diameter 2, -5, and 5, 2, okay? So those are the endpoints of the diameter. So remember, the diameter is the whole distance across the circle. The radius is just half. So let's sketch this out. 2, -5 would be something down there. And then 5, 2 would be something up here, right? So these are the endpoints. I need to find my center, and then I need to find, half of the diameter. So to find the center, I need to use the midpoint formula, which is just finding the average of the x's and the average of the y's. Okay, so an average is just adding the two things together and then dividing by however many things you have. So 2 + 5, that would give me 7 divided by 2. And then -5 + 2 would give me -3 divided by 2. So in terms of decimals, that would be 3.5, -1.5. Okay, so there's my center. Now I have to find my radius. You could do this in two different methods, guys. I could find the distance between the endpoints and then divide by 2. Or I could just find the distance between the center and the endpoint. So either method will work here today. I think I'm just going to I'm going to use the center, okay? So I want the distance between the center, and you can pick either one of these endpoints. I'm going to pick 5, 2 because, I don't know, it doesn't have any negatives. So my radius is going to be 5 minus 3.5. That would be 1.5 squared. And then 2 minus a -1.5 would be 3.5, right? 2 minus -1.5, yes. All right, so plop this into your calculator and tell me what you get. Oh, I forgot we weren't in class for a second. Tell me in the comments what you get. I actually really, really enjoy when students comment in the comments. So please, comment what makes sense, what doesn't make sense. I would love that. Okay. But I get 14.5 as my radius. So let's put this, or the square root of 14.5 is my radius. Let's put this all together now here, folks. X minus the center here. So here's my center. This would be a plus 1.5. And then equals the square root of 14.5 squared, right? So there's my equation, or just like we did above, I could write this as x minus 3.5 squared plus y plus 1.5 squared equals 14.5, all right? Alrighty, folks, that's all I've got for circles today. Make sure you're doing the practice, watching Mr. Gibbons' videos if you have questions on the practice, and make sure you're taking your Canvas quizzes daily. Awesome job, folks. I'm going to play a song for you on my way out, and let me know in the comments if you know why I played it. Okay, good luck. Why am I playing this song? Do you guys know the song? Okay, let me know. Bye.